In the bottom right here of Polypoid, we have Bonyth. And in the bottom left, we have Gypsy. So this is a match that I'm very, very excited about. I think that this is going to be a really good one because obviously Bonyth has done much more in the non-Korean scene than has Gypsy. But honestly, I think Gypsy is a similar level to Bonyth. And in fact, you know, being Artosis and the fact that Gypsy plays Terran, I would say he's actually a better player. But we're putting our caster hat on right now, right? So we're going to go ahead and say I think he's as good as Bonyth, right? It's I think that Gypsy is a step above all the other Terrans. That includes Terror. Because he actually mechanically is better than everybody else. Like, he just can macro better, and that's such a large part of playing Terran. You know, if you can just kind of hit the build order and macro the entire time well, it just gives you a huge boost over other players. So I think that is going to give Bonyth a little bit of a hard time, because a lot of Bonyth's Protoss versus Terran play is based around things like carriers. He used to be very well known for Reavers. I've been casting more and more of the non-Korean games recently, and definitely he's been favoring a lot of like 2-gate Observer as opposed to Reaver openers, just microing his goons. He has very solid goon micro. Definitely knows how to hold off pushes and everything. He obviously has some really weird Corsair builds, which I think are interesting ones that we might end up seeing here as well. But yeah, let's just watch the game a little bit, see how it unfolds. Big thanks to everyone, by the way, for playing in Ascension, and everyone who has checked out my channels, whether that's on twitch.tv/Artosis or on ArtosisCasts, where these VODs are uploaded. Much appreciated, guys. Yeah, Ascension is a tournament near and dear to my heart. And I really like it. I like having King of the Hill formats, I think, in general are very fun, and I think avoiding mirror matchups is really fun. The only mirror matchup I like is Terran versus Terran, so... And I think some of you might be stupid enough to disagree with me on that, and that's fine. I don't expect you to be as smart as me, but that's the only good mirror, I think. Now, taking a look at what Gypsy's doing here, he's got a very solid SimCity. He has delayed his marine production a little bit, gotten his factory very, very quickly. This is a great SimCity for this spot. In fact, I don't think I've seen this done on Polypoid, but I've seen it done on similar maps. This hole will not fit a worker or a zealot, but it will fit marines. So it's a really great micro hole there. He'll probably just go for a vulture expand is my guess. 3 marines into a vulture, but does not necessarily have to. Now, Bonyth's sending his first zealot over. Gypsy going to pull back, takes a couple shots, and then pulls back there. So very confident in his micro. Factory finishes up, and... Okay, there is the vulture instead of an add-on. Ooh! Oh, I thought Bonyth was going to get a hit there. So nice pull back there. Range is on the way. The SCV will get up the ramp, but Bonyth will actually stop it dead in his tracks. Now, the fact that a probe was coming out right then... Oh, my God. Oh, my God. This is crazy. Bonyth's cheesing. Okay. Wow. Okay, so anyways, the fact that the probe was coming out then, I was going to say Gypsy is going to know that it's most likely a Nexus, but that is part of Bonyth's trick. Because it's not a Nexus. Now, if you see that and you lose your probe or your SCV and you don't get in, you don't get to see what's going on, like how many probes are on gas, that type of thing, you definitely look at that and you say, okay, this is probably a Nexus. Like, obviously you don't know for sure, but that's normally what Bonyth does anyways. So this is a really good mind game from Bonyth. A really, really good one. One that I would definitely curse about on the ladder. Now, look at that micro from Bonyth as well. He picks off 3 of the 4 Marines. The bunker does end up getting up. A siege tank is on the way. The robo is almost done. Obviously, this is going to be Reaver tech. And we'll see if he gets siege or not. Because the 2 goons is not that uncommon, and you can actually push it back while getting mines. The most common play in Gypsy's position here, guys, is to get mines and make a couple extra Marines and maybe make up to 2 tanks and push the goons back. And then get your vultures to the map to do some scouting, lay some mines and everything. We don't see what upgrade he wants yet. He is starting the secondary tank. My guess is going to be that it's mines. That's what Bonyth wants. Siege mode would be more useful here for him. Not that mines are bad here. Like, if you figure out that Reavers are coming, you can lay mines in places Reavers are likely to unload, which Bonyth is good enough at his micro that he may be able to detonate those mines anyways. Oh, he started Siege, then canceled. Now he sees a fourth. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, God. He's going to lose that. Oh, no. He's just barely not going to. That block was amazing. Holy crap. Holy crap. So what happened, guys, is this is... I want to, like, just pause and rewind. This is 3 goons thick. So when he pulled it back, 1 goon got stuck behind. So he only got the 7 hits on the tank. It takes 8 goon hits to kill a tank. And then he blocked with the vulture so nothing could move forward. So that was actually a big punish on Bonyth. Beautiful move there from Gypsy, who, by the way, is making a missile turret here. That's a very good turret for anti-Reaver. It's not perfect. Obviously, it's better up there. But this is for anti-DT as well. He doesn't know what's coming at the moment. Now, he goes into Armory. He has only tanks. Where is this Reaver at? Oh, here it is. Here it is. Okay, flies right over everything, so that didn't reach to the edge, unfortunately. No turrets in here. Gypsy's trying to stay on top of things. Notice once again, he comes up with those. Oh, my God. Oh, this is so rough right now. Taking a ton of damage. Okay, good pullback. Really good micro on both sides. Starts putting some damage on the Reaver. Oh, my God. His tanks are all one shot from death. Oh, my God. And don't forget, right now, he's putting pressure on in the front. All right, shuttle looking for its moment. There's going to... Oh, he's actually not making Goliath. A little bit surprised. I would have liked to see a Goliath made. Drops the Reaver out in the natural. Breaks the bunker. Oh, my God. Bonyth is just... Oh, my God. He loses it to the turret. He needed to be just 1 hex over more, and he wouldn't have taken damage there and gotten out. But he loses that shuttle. That's a good moment for Gypsy. So... we got to kind of take a moment because this rush is now over. We have to take a moment and take stock of where we're at because this has been an insane early game. An insane early game. So Gypsy right now on 5 tanks. Probe count versus SCV count equal. Nexus is just finished, so we should keep that as an equal count. Another Reaver, another shuttle. Looks like he's getting ready maybe for an additional base. A secondary gateway going down. 3rd gateway. Okay, I like this. If he was going to go like 1 gate 3rd Nexus or even 2 gate 3rd Nexus, I was going to be a bit nervous because you're relying so heavily on that point on your Reavers, slowing down any possible incoming pushes, that could be rough. Because there are a lot of siege tanks remaining. Like, at the end of the day, Gypsy was hurt, but he killed a lot of units. Especially when that turret killed off the Reaver and shuttle. If that had not occurred... you know, Bonyth would be 100% safe. But in this case, he's added the additional production facilities. I think it's a good call. One thing to mention, this is maybe the latest 2nd factory anyone's ever seen, but it's because of the crazy opening to the game. This is not wrong by Gypsy. It's just he's been kind of forced into this situation where he was running SCVs around, having to build turrets, having to repair. By the way, he's removing that just so he can macro cleanly. He wants his factories in a big line here so they're on one screen. But yeah, it just kind of a crazy game, right, that we're seeing here. Now, ooh, gets that to 5 health. Just dropping the Reaver a little bit, doing some harassment. Bonyth really one of these masters of the Reaver that knows exactly where he can drop it at any time. Goliath range being researched, so kind of going into an older school mode here with Goliath range as well as siege tanks, right? We used to call it like the Goliath build for TVP, and then eventually there was a Goliath build for TVZ, so that became the Goliath build. But anyways, the original Goliath build was this, where you got 4 range Goliath early on. It was like from around ASL Season 3 or something. This was the most popular TVP build in the world, where you go for the Goliaths as your anti-air. Obviously, here he has turrets as well, but he's just kind of doubling down on that anti-air, which I actually like. Because he's against Bonyth, who always goes carrier. Like, always. Honestly, I've casted like 20 Bonyth games recently. I haven't seen him go Arbiter once. He's getting air attacks. He's getting ready for it. A scan goes down. Not too many units there. The 3rd Nexus just finishing. 4th Nexus on the way. That'll probably be it for Bonyth, by the way. He doesn't overexpand with carriers like some Protosses. Some Protosses make carriers and they just make Nexuses everywhere at the same time. Bonyth has like a lot of confidence, I want to say, in the way that he plays it. where he'll go for the forward nexus generally and sit on that and grind you down. Now, that's not to say that we won't see more bases. Definitely that is a possibility, but not as quickly as you might see some other, like, very greedy Protosses do it. Now, a big probe transfer to that third base location, adding the additional gateways as well. Really a very smooth build. Very, very smooth build here from Bonyth. The Citadel coming up. That is something you always need to be thinking about. You know, you need to get Zealot legs, basically, every time, right? Like, sometimes you go carriers first, sometimes you go legs first, but it's like an important thing to think about. Now, the two Reavers are actually creeping forward here. He's so annoying with Reavers. Now, look at this. The Reavers are going to get insane value. Oh, my God. Dude. It's crazy. He wasn't sieged for like 5 seconds, so Bonyth got 4 Goliaths and like 3 tanks and lost a goon. It's insanity. It's insanity. Gypsy's army was much better, and now Bonyth is winning. Like, look at how quickly that turned around. That's so... Well, this is an overextension, I think. Right? Oh, God, never mind. Okay, well, he got that tank as well. He's keeping better track of the health than me that can click on everything, so that's wonderful. But that's crazy what he just did. Now, I look at that and the amount of production that he has, and I'm like, wow, I don't think Gypsy's going to have any push potential coming up. Especially these two Reavers still here. Still picking off siege tanks. It's insane. Look, he's got 0 tanks right now. Well, 1 tank. Okay. No, I was right. 0 tanks. So 0 tanks right now, which is just so crazy. We do have a Vulture counter raid going on. Bonyth is losing a fair amount of probes to this. So like 7 probes killed so far there at least. I thought he actually had more probes there, so there might have been like one that died to a mine hit or something like that. I'm not sure. But he kills the probes at this base. So now suddenly we're at 38 probes. So, okay, Gypsy has lost a huge amount of his army that he was really focusing on. And he's very late on taking a third base. But again, the game is weird, so we can't use normal benchmarks. But I do like to mention benchmarks sometimes to just let you guys know how weird the game is. The latest in a regular game that doesn't start with a 1-base opener from Protoss, the latest you ever want to get your third base is 12 minutes. Like mining at 12 minutes. Here he's starting it at like 12:30 or something. So definitely the game is on its head right now. It's like a weird situation. They're both going to have to play a little bit off the cuff. But it's an interesting one, right? Because a lot of the tanks died. A lot of the high-value units from Gypsy ended up going down. But he killed a good amount of probes. So Bonyth can't just make whatever he wants, right? Like, Bonyth right now, if he hadn't lost those probes, I guarantee you he'd have more Stargates going. He'd have the fleet beacon already up. He'd really be going for the carrier switch already. Instead, he's focusing more heavily on these gateway units. Now, he's going to push forward. Let's see. Maybe. It doesn't look like an attack you should take. Oh, wow. Loses that Reaver kind of randomly up there. Hadn't realized that was occurring. Very similar supplies. Gypsy with more workers. Gonna get that transferred down to this third base. Definitely needs to start his 4th command center soon, I'd say. If you're not going to start your 4th command center, I think you got to add 3 factories and just fucking go all in, basically. I mean, it's really one way or the other, right? You're going to start running out of mineral patches. Do you make it a bigger macro game? Yeah, there it is. He starts that 4th command center. I think that is definitely the right choice in this circumstance. Hopefully he's keeping track of whether or not there are carriers on the way, because right now we have 3 carriers making. He scans, he sees the 3 Stargates blinking, so he's going to have a very good idea of what's going on. I do notice that this game has been a bit wild. We don't have the Corsairs coming out. Is that something Bonyth is going to use against Gypsy today? Not in this game, but we'll see. That's something he's been mixing into some of his other series. Gypsy does add those 3 factories after the command center, so getting up into his 9-factory macro, looking very, very good with that. I love the base layout, by the way. The base layout is superb. The only thing I'm worried about is if you have 2 tanks here that pop out at the same time, sometimes this one will get stuck. So if he's macroing quickly, we'll glance back at that occasionally just to check. Oh, no, popped out perfect. Sometimes they bump each other there. It's like a really weird thing when you have stacked add-ons like that occurs occasionally. So, all right, a little bit of a Vulture attack coming in once again. The Dragoon's in a forward position, so they're going to have a hard time there blocking the probe death. Vulture's running out once again. Doing a good job keeping some Vultures out in the map and, like, denying these expansions. Not that Bonyth has tried to take them yet, but just keeping active with these is showing Gypsy a lot of what's going on in this game. Zealot down at 6 o'clock. This is probably just a scout, whether it's for dropship or, you know, Gypsy on a push. This is probably the most comfortable base to take in a lot of ways, because if you push as Gypsy horizontally here, Bonyth's army can't fight here, so it'll go up here, right? So if Bonyth's army takes over the center, it can easily attack into this base, but not easily attack into this base. So this is just making sure SCV doesn't come up and snipe a command center there while he attacks. I like that move from Bonyth. I think it's a smart way to look at it. Now the probe going up towards this top right. Oh, but he did not clear one Vulture. Will he put the Nexus? No, it's going to the main base. So this is great for Gypsy. This is really going to slow this base quite a bit. No, it's not. Patrol is great, isn't it? My God. It doesn't shoot at all. It slides away, and the probe starts the Nexus on time. So good for Bonyth there. Now here comes that push. Let's see Bonyth. He should move up into this area like we were talking about before. Good siege here. Pushing forward. 3 carriers are out. So this is basically the best attack timing Gypsy could ever hit. He's got 2-1. He's got enough Goliaths to deal with 3 carriers, and he's getting in here immediately. Sets up on the low ground. Bonyth coming back. He's going to attack down. This is probably the best engagement that he can take in this position. Gypsy right up next to the edge of the high ground. So a lot of shots on the goons are missing, but now that the Zealots are almost gone, the goons are going to start to evaporate. The interceptors are like not full right now, right? So he's having a hard time with any sort of engagement. Right now, this looks very good for Gypsy. Bonyth is making Zealots as quickly as he can out of these gateways. I think that's really his only chance. He has to keep this goon group alive. If he loses that, I think the game is over. Ooh, this probe transfer. You got to be careful with that one, man. He's sending it to the natural. A lot of Goliaths in here. He's going to go ahead and send it back. Hopefully he can get out some of these probes as well. He's going to have to sit in this base. This Nexus is going down. This is going down. I think Gypsy's going to take this game number 1. It is really looking like that right now. This is tough for Bonyth. Now, the one thing we do have to say, this is 6 carriers. The Goliath count here is about 16. So actually, the carriers can take on 16 Goliaths, believe it or not. With Bonyth's level of micro, he brings down the Goliaths, or the Dragoons as well. More Goliaths coming in, though. Bonyth has to be very, very careful about this. Taking pretty big hull damage on one of those carriers. Look at this. He's reduced the siege tank count dramatically. Those goons on high ground are so tanky. I'm actually very impressed. I can't believe... Wait. 1, 2... Wait. He saved both of these Nexuses. Gypsy had 140 supply of Siege Tank Goliath here against 11 goons and 6 carriers, and both the Nexuses survived. Okay, so we just went from me being pretty sure that Gypsy was going to win this game to suddenly this game is wide open. Oh my God, can he wall this in time? He can! Oh, pylon walls, the worst enemy of the Vulture. Well, he's going to try to power that down, but the carriers are going to come in and save the day, as they generally tend to do. Bonyth right now producing very, very quickly. He's making a lot of high temperatures. I actually didn't notice if he has Storm. I actually have no idea. Well, we'll know because he'll make Archons or he won't make Archons. Yeah, he makes Archons. So that just shows that he has a mineral imbalance right now because he took so much damage. Lots of extra gas, makes those Archons. He just needs anything he can get. But Gypsy during this time, this is what I'm talking about with that next level mechanics, right? So right now you see he has 9 facts producing nonstop. He's keeping his minerals low. He has the 4 base. There's Terrans that can do this in the foreign scene. It's when you're taking these additional bases during all that where it's like, holy crap, his macro is really going to start to explode here. Look at him out on the map once again. He's got 70 workers, which might even be a little bit high for this, but if you're going to stay on only Goliath tank, actually, I'm going to give him a pass on that. I think that's solid. His economy looks fantastic at the moment. He's starting to build turrets in his main. These are just going to be to slow the carriers. If carriers attack his main, very likely that Gypsy just counterattacks. I think this is turning into a game where Gypsy has to basically counterattack. Either you max out and you attack, or if Bonyth tries to hit any with his carriers, you just counter. Like, just go somewhere else immediately, because Gypsy's army should be stronger at that point. Oh my god, what a game we have going on right now. Okay, we gotta take some counts. Okay, we're on 7 carriers. +2. Okay, just +2. We got +1 on the gateway units. Okay, 7 carriers is a pretty good number. It's a pretty good number. You know, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, so on and so forth is better. But 7 is better than all the numbers below it. So, very solid here. You do need to have, like, at least 20 Goliaths to really deal with this. He definitely has more than that. He's got 2-2 upgrades already, 3-3 on the way. Pushes everything back. Bonyth right now, I like the way he's doing this. The way that he's moving his army reminds me of something that my late great friend Jeff in Control Robinson used to say about Protoss, which is sharking around the map, where you're running around, you're just trying to pick off a few units here and there. You're acting like you're scary, but you're not really scary. You know what I mean? This army doesn't beat this army, but he's running around kind of like it does. And look, this engage, this isn't good for Gypsy. Half his army's over here, so he turns around, picks off a bunch of units. Really, really nice moves here from Bonyth. This is great army movement that we're seeing right now. Just fantastically done. But during all of this, Gypsy has set up these 2 bases. He has the additional gases. His income is absolutely insane right now. It's like, it's madness. His income is so good. His SCV amounts over here are very, very healthy as well. Looks like we are going to have a little bit of a draw. So that is annoying. Bonyth, I think, will start to do some harassment or something up here. He'll be able to take this out. There's a DT. Oh, ooh. He almost didn't get the DT. That would have been annoying. Okay, in the meantime, Bonyth adding 3 more carriers. So this is where it's going to start to get very interesting. Bonyth is going for +3 air attacks, and he's going up to 10 carrier right now. Carriers outscale everything. So, like, you can have a huge mech army, but if there's enough carriers, they actually still trade really well. It is, like, the best scaling unit that there is, basically, other than the Defiler. Of which one could beat this whole army just about. Now, in come the carriers, and he actually runs in with those speed lots. As the speed lots get chewed up, he needs to back up. This army still definitely does not beat this army. Which, by the way, Gypsy's economy is so good. Like, you rarely see a game that looks like this from Terran. Generally, you'll have, like, more vultures in these armies and more vultures running around. But in this particular case, he has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gases, which is almost unheard of in this matchup. So he's able to make pure Goliath tank right now. So that's like, I mean, it's pretty close to optimal. You might actually want some vultures as well just to lay mines around for Bonyth to run into. But, you know, this is a really good army as far as just standing up and taking a fight. So anyways, comes in here, sieges up very nicely. Bonyth trying to take an engage. He sends forward his melee units. And again, as those die, he has to back up. You can see Bonyth is really a master of engagements. I'm getting chills watching this because he's literally running at exactly the right time every single time, which is something you rarely see, even from professional Protosses. Believe me, I cast them all the time in ASL. Like, a lot of times you'll see that same fight from a pro, and they'll lose half their goons. Bonyth literally, as his last units are starting to die, he gets out, which is exactly what he needs to do. He's retaining his Dragoon count, which is what saved him here, by the way. Retaining those 11 goons, if he hadn't done that, the game's already over. So, like, really great army micro here from Bonyth. Now moves forward here once again. He's up to those 10 carriers. They have ridiculously good upgrades right now. They do have +3 attack. I believe he's just now getting into +1 flyer armor? Carapace? I don't know. Carrier armor. Comes up once again. We are going to start to get some storms in here, it looks like, which I think, obviously, that is, like, the next step for Bonyth, who, by the way, is down in supply, down 30 workers, and down in bases. Like, this entire game, basically. But still fighting back valiantly. And as these storms start come out, you just kind of treat the Goliaths like they're Hydralisks a little bit, right? Like, you just start blanketing the storms on them, get them softened up. Maybe you'll kill some. The carriers can start to finish those up as well. The Zealots running in, bringing that siege tank splash damage to them. By the way, +2 ground attack just now coming in here for Bonyth. And, well, this still looks pretty good for Gypsy. As long as he continues to rally into this army, as long as he macros as quickly as he has been this entire time, I think that's really the thing. If he starts to over-micro or anything like that, if he pays too much attention to the army, it might sound counterintuitive, but that could be a way that I could see him falling apart. Like, right now, he just needs numbers, because mathematically, he should be winning this game, and it definitely looks to me like he is as well. Starting to get on top of this third base once again, starting to pick off a lot of these probes. Don't forget, Bonyth's economy is not that hot. Like, this is not huge probe saturation. No base. This is pretty good, but it's almost gone, right? Main is empty. So losing this third is a big deal. He's down to sub 40 probes right now. Gypsy continuing to macro quickly. He's up at 10 facts. 3, 7, 10. Yes, okay. I can count. Now, he actually knocks down his own pylon so he can get out of that area. Now, here is a big question. Are you going into the main base as Gypsy? Clearing main bases takes a long time as Terran. And if Protoss wants to make it dirty, they can make it real dirty. Now, Bonyth is going for a counterattack. He's saying, okay, you can kill my main, but I'm going to kill your expansions. And if he kills these 2 bases, who's winning that game? I don't know. I don't know who's winning that game. All right, comes in with his Dragoons, going to go ahead and start clearing some of these Goliaths. The carriers are being pretty absurd right now, but there are enough Goliaths here, I think, to just barely push them back, I think. Maybe not. God, the carriers are pretty good, man. All right, 12 Goliaths push forward, trying to get some snipes. They don't quite get them. You can see a little bit of hull damage on that one. That's the one that was being targeted here. Doesn't get it, though. Continuing to come up with these Goliaths. Look, very good chance this base goes down. Starts targeting it. You got to lift and repair if you want to save it. And he's not going to do either of those, unfortunately. So Bonyth instantly kills a base. Notice Gypsy never did end up going up the ramp. He did bring those reinforcements up here to try to save his own bases, realizing that this was probably more important. You know, you don't really care about trying to clear this off, and especially with High Templars there now, it's like, oh my god, clearing that would cost so much supply anyways. Bonyth backs up. We do have a siege tank counterattack. Now, here's the problem with this attack. He's going to kill this Nexus very likely, but the carriers are going to get there before the Goliaths. I think Gypsy right here is losing a good 7 or 8 tanks, probably for free. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3, there's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Did I say 7 or 8 tanks? Thank you, guys. If you'd like to subscribe, the button is down below. All right, so the carriers clear those siege tanks, certainly worth more than this Nexus. And, well, I mean, still Gypsy's army is superior by a big margin. But let's take out the supply difference that we have in workers. It's 40, right? So actually, it's 160 against 132. That's not as big as what we see here, right? So the army difference is not quite as crazy here. Goliath siege tank trying to close in. This base is empty. Yeah, this is the last mining base for Bonyth. So if he's going to win this, it's going to be these 11 carriers grinding everything down for the rest of the game. It's kind of crazy to think about. It's not impossible, though. It is not impossible. He is going for a counterattack. He wants to kill these bases once again. Look at this. He's going to be able to pick off so many Goliaths here. 11 carriers is just so scary. And basically at this point, this whole economy is about refilling interceptors and buying High Templars. So he picks off that command center in a matter of seconds. Now, if you commit the carriers up here, the Goliaths have a potential to trap them, or at least partially trap them and get a few kills. So he is being careful about that. In the meantime, a lot of Psy Storms here. Two important things going on. We have the Psy Storms in this bottom right area, And then we have the carriers trying to get through. The Goliaths came up to try to catch them as they flew over. He will be able to get every single one of them out. A lot of interceptors go down. The money is very, very low for Bonyth right now, as you can see. A lot of High Templars up here, though. What a crazy macro game we have here. 30 minutes in right now. We're getting to the very ends of what you can really see in StarCraft. I mean, technically you can get games longer than this, but I mean, this is coming to a head. Something's going to happen here with these carriers. Now, once again, comes out the Psystorm's going to be gigantic here. One Psystorm goes down. Oh, is that it? Is that it? Bonyth has to back up there. That is way too many Goliaths. Does Gypsy have enough to punch through? Looks like we have more storms come down. Looks like he has 2 storms available right now. 2 more could be coming relatively soon here. Oh my god, the Dragoon's helping underneath as well. Only 1 carrier has died this whole time, by the way. Well, in the recent part of the game. I believe 1 died earlier in the game as well, but he's got 10 out of the 11 that we started this supreme endgame with. Gypsy, by the way, has expanded down to 6 o'clock. Not many more places he can realistically take. He could take this base. Everything else, the carriers can kill too easily. So Gypsy is basically on the end of what he can take. Bonyth just wants this base so badly. He wants it more than anything in the world right now. The Goliath comes in. I'm not sure exactly what this Goliath is up to. A little scouting Goliath coming up the side. Look, you can see Gypsy is trying to set up snipes on these carriers. But Bonyth a little bit too quick with his reacting. Wow, 19 health on that one. That's 1 Goliath shot away if it loses its shields. Which means it was very close to death before. I think, by the way, at this point, scanning to kill observers is a very good move. Okay, now we have the entire army of Bonyth coming down. There's no siege tanks left. He's bringing up a couple more. But pure Goliath, as the Psystorms come up, as the Dragoons start to fight, does not do as well. Now, no storms left there. He does have some more storms coming, though. SCVs coming to fight as well. Oh, my God. The SCVs actually being linebackers here on the front lines. They actually just prevented an Archon morph, which is kind of hilarious. Which actually, at the end of the day, is better for Bonyth because it gets the High Templar back. If the Archon had morphed, it would have died out here. Kind of a funny moment there. Okay, let's try to take stock. 34 of this supply doesn't count because it's in SCVs. Okay, so actual army supply seems to be about even. Bonyth's is 10 carriers and a little bit of ground. And do we have any High Templars left? 1, 2. Nothing. Nothing. Okay, so he has 2 High Templars with 1 Storm currently. An Archon, a little group of goons. He may want to... Yeah, he's buying a few more High Templars. I think High Templars buying a few are probably more important than a couple of more Interceptors at this point. The Storm's going to be incredibly important, and he has that big gas bank. Comes up, he's going to knock out a gas, maybe a command center. Oh, man, can he get that command center? He might lose a carrier if he really tries. Ooh, out repairs. Out repairs. And at this point, Bonyth is so broke, he can't just right-click on command centers anymore because he'll lose, like, so many interceptors, and that's no good. Like, he needs to... He can't lose all his interceptors at this point. He needs really fantastic engagements. All right, comes forward. Storm's on the tanks. But his ground army is actually almost dead already. Does get rid of those tanks very, very quickly. Ooh. This is an absolutely insane game. You know, I think this base at the bottom, I'm feeling like this is just going to clutch it for Gypsy. Gypsy is finally remaxed after a very long time at fighting at lower supplies. Continuing to move forward here. Some nice sniping, trying to go down on these carriers. Look at this. He's sacrificing a group of Goliaths almost. Not exactly a group, but like 8 Goliaths to kill 2 carriers. Definitely worth. Breaking through. I think that's it. I think he's done it. There doesn't seem to be enough left here. These 2 High Templars are done. These 2 don't have a storm yet. They will in like 20 seconds or so. But this push is coming in, and this is the last like real safe haven here for Bonyth. He has to keep this place going. 2 storms are about to be here. 1 storm, 2 storm. The carriers have to kill everything from here as those siege tanks will splatter everything on the ground. And an absolutely amazing game here between Gypsy and Bonyth. Oh my god. Another storm from that high ground. A ghost being made. Are we styling? Are we styling? He's actually got, like, not that much money right this second, but he's actually got good income, so yeah, that has to be styling. Okay, 10 Goliaths in production. I mean, the carriers are being unbelievably cost-efficient. You can see that Bonyth is almost unrivaled in carrier control. Truly. Like, who is actually better than him at carrier control? Stork or something? I don't even know, man. Wait a minute. Are these carriers actually going to kill everything? I guess so. Well, there's more where that came from. No Side Storm ready quite yet with that. Yeah, 8 carriers remain. More and more Goliaths continue to rally up. I think as he sees these, that's going to be it. GG! Oh my god, what a game.